own society. Thought I couldn't think much. I've been watching all this stuff from the Bondi massacre and just sitting here in front of the TV getting sick of all the politicians and media's bullshit, and thought, well, I do my daily podcast with the Charlie Kirk Bible read in my rant. Why not get on live on my little live stream and have that rant right now? Because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of you. Excuse me. No, I don't have to. Plenty of you just like me, not struggling with the concept, but just when you see something like this on our shores, under that flag, you start questioning everything. So you can't really go to bed, can't watch a film, can't do all that. So you're just thinking about all the victims, all the ones that have been injured, all that sort of thing. And the real anger, though, is it is at those bastards who shot them. But my real anger is reserved for all the bloody politicians that have created this situation in our great country. That's where our real anger should be aimed. And politicians of all persuasions, Australian people, Joe Public has been screaming, like literally screaming for how long, I don't know, to get our immigration under control. And you've got all the moderates already on the fucking X saying, oh, well, you can't link this to Islamic terrorism, or you can't link this to anti-Semitism. Yes, we can. I mean, Jesus, do you treat us all like we're that freaking dumb? On Hanukkah, the first day of Hanukkah, against a Jewish community, we've seen the shooters. For those who've been on Twitter, we've seen the driver's license of one of the shooters. It is not a Jewish name. It is not an Australian name. It's not a white nationalist. It's not an NSN. Call it as it is. It's a fucking Muslim. And that's not to taint all Muslims. Anyone who's got a brain can see that. But fuck. Sorry for my French, but it's a little frustrating to see elbows on. Hold on.
To, without hesitating, put themselves in danger.
Let's listen to what Elbo's got to say. I'll turn it around. Hold on.
We have seen Australians today run towards danger in order to help others. These Australians are heroes, and their bravery has saved lives. As Prime Minister, I say, on behalf of all Australians to the Jewish community, we stand with you. We embrace you. And we reaffirm tonight that you have every right to be proud of who you are and what you believe. You have the right to worship and study and live and work in peace and safety. And you enrich us as a nation. You should never have to endure the loss that you have suffered today. You should never know the fear that you know tonight. We will dedicate every resource required to making sure you are safe and protected. You are Australian, and all Australians are with you today and every day. My fellow Australians, I say tonight that there are nights that tear at our nation's soul. In this moment of darkness, we must be each other's light. Hold on to the true character of the country that we love. Australia is stronger than the cowards who attacked innocent people today. Australia is braver than those who seek to make us afraid. Australia will never submit to division, violence, or hatred. We will see justice done, and we will come through this together. I'd ask Acting Deputy Commissioner Ryan to make some comments, and then Director General Burgess.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Firstly, our thoughts go out to the families and communities that have been affected by this.
That's enough. Don't need to hear the rest of it. Hold on.
He stands next to the New South Wales
Coming back.
Police and with ASIO in our joint counter-terrorism arrangements. And we'll put all resources we can.
That bastard that you just saw He didn't even mention the word Islamic, even though we can all see it. And we're going to get all the woke arseholes saying, oh, you can't link it, like I just said before. Tomorrow morning, we'll get the Labor politicians coming on with their usual smoke screens of Islamophobia, or this was social media's fault. No, the deaths to those people today are on the hands of our politicians who've just insisted on a mass immigration from some of the worst countries on the planet. And anybody who knows me knows I am not anti-immigration. I have some really good immigrant friends, really good. But let's call a spade a spade. The issues aren't coming from the Asian community. The issues aren't coming from many within the Indonesian community who fled here who aren't Islamic. I know a few aren't, and they have the same fears as us. The issues aren't coming from countries that are predominantly Christian. The issues we have with the terrorist attacks in this country and worldwide are coming from countries with a radical Islamic element. That's what it is. Our politicians are too gutless to say it. That is not to taint every Muslim, but every Muslim that stands by and doesn't speak out. Hold on.
At the moment, to Jewish Australians who may not feel.
Just got a close up with the
My
idiot.
message to Jewish Australians is that
He's
your
getting
fellow
questions.
Australians stand with
Let's
you
listen.
tonight in condemning this act of terror, in condemning this outrage. We have had a number of conversations with people tonight. One of the Jewish community leaders said to me that we know where anti-Semitism leads, that it leads to an attack on everyone, not just Jewish Australians. And this attack at Bondi Beach, of all places, a place of celebration, a place where people, particularly in Sydney, but from all over the world, come to enjoy each other's company and to, in this case, at the Bondi Pavilion there. I'm very familiar with that pavilion. This senseless attack is one which is an act of terror. It is aimed at creating fear. But we will stand with the Jewish community and Jewish Australians at this time.
Prime Minister, in light of this attack, is the government going to move on any of the recommendations in the Special Envoy's report on anti-Semitism in Australia?
Yeah, we're continuing to work on all of those issues, including one of the things that you'll see is a request that had previously been made to be included in additional funding for security as well. And I know that it is, this is an incredibly tough time.
Sorry,
for the community.
I can't listen to this arsehole
with
anymore.
this.
No doubt if there's anything interesting, it'll get shared on social media. I just can't listen to that prick. There's going to be all those going to say, what a grand statement, what a wonderful statement. That arsehole has allowed Palestinian marches for close on 2 years, over 2 years to go on in our streets. He's encouraged anti-Semitism. He's encouraged racial division. He's encouraged hatred. He and that arsehole Tony Burke are bringing the ISIS brides back in. They did it with a nudge and a wink. They keep bringing in the worst elements that hate Australians, whether they're Jewish, Christian, non-Christian. They hate our way of life. They hate our culture. They say, oh, you can't rush into judgment right now. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. We've seen it on our TV screens. We've seen what's happened. If I'm wrong, I'll put up an apology. I don't really care, but I'm pissed off too. I was listening to this. I read a text from Sam Bamford. And I normally start the Charlie Kirk thing before I start on what I saw from Sam. I normally start, and maybe I'll finish tonight with a reading from the Gospels and the Bible. I'm not too sure whether I should because I'm probably in an unchristian mode at the moment. I read a text of Sam Bamford, and I love Sam. I reckon Sam does some great work. But I disagreed with him tonight. He was trying to tell everyone to stay calm, relaxed, say a prayer, say the loved one. Sam, mate, love you to death, but I'm sick of that bullshit. I'm sick of politicians putting out their statements and saying now is the time for calm. No, now's the time for a bit of righteous anger. Now's the time for us to go back on these bastards that call themselves politicians who claim they act in our best interest, at every turn reject our best interest. At every turn, they work against you and I, the Australian citizen. They make our lives harder. They oppress our freedoms. They oppress our liberties. They increase our taxes. They've brought our taxes, as we've seen. They're just utter garbage. They're arseholes, the bulk of them. Not all of them, the bulk of them. So, about time we had some righteous anger and we start calling a bloody spade a bloody spade. If you haven't seen the driver's license of the guy of one of the shooters, get on social media and have a look. If you're going to turn around and say these were white nationalists or this was the neo-Nazis, and I have my issues with them, but don't try and paint this on them. Don't try and paint this on people who are Islamophobic. I'll probably be labelled that. I've had good friends that have been Muslims. I've got no issue with a decent Muslim person. But there's two things. There is radical elements within the Islamic community that hate our country, hate Western society, hate our culture. And they showed that today. They've showed it previously, like in the Link Cafe. No coincidence, it's nearly 2 years to the day since that event. Is there any more planned? Did our police know about some of these? There's raids going on, apparently, according to Channel 7 News, across Sydney all of a sudden. So they obviously knew about something's going on. So they need to act, and they need to act quickly. And I don't want to hear on the breakfast shows tomorrow, oh, well, we can't take the whole Muslim community. We can't be Islamophobic. Screw that bullshit. I don't want to hear a statement. There was a statement that Susan Lay put out, and it was just your typical glib political statement. Susan, what are you going to do about bloody immigration? How are we going to cure these divides? How are we going to fix this country? Are we going to actually look at kicking people out who hate our country? Are we going to look at kicking politicians out of Parliament who despise our country? You know who I'm talking about, and there's a number of them in there. What are you going to do as a leader? Are you going to stand up, or are you going to give us these woke, moderate, bullshit little statements that come out again? Every person, and I'm not expecting to see ALP because they need these bastards to win their votes. They don't care about the country. They care about their cushy little jobs in Parliament where they can spend $35,000 on a return airfare, where they can spend money on a party, where they can bring their family to ski trips, to football games. They're not acting in our best interest. Every one of these politicians who say they're distraught, no doubt some of them would be, but there's some of them that wouldn't give a shit. The Greens are coming out now with messages of sympathy. These are the same pro-Palestinian bastards that have been pro-Palestinian since October 7th. Probably in their private rooms on October 7th, they were celebrating those attacks against Israel. Don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked in by these bastards who say they have our best interests at heart. They do not. And this isn't a pro-Israel, pro-Jewish, whatever. This is a pro-Australian commentary. Those people that died today were Australians, and they were killed by people who hate our country. What sort of Australian would go to Bondi Beach with a shotgun and a semi-automatic weapon and fire 100 shots, killing 12 people, 11 people actually, because apparently one of the dead is one of the bloody terrorists. And well done whoever shot him. As you can tell, I'm pretty pissed off. But the reason I'm pissed off is this has been so obvious this was going to come. We're all sitting back just waiting for the day. And here it is. Here's the day. Now it's time, if you're a legitimate Aussie, to get pissed off. Sorry, Sam. It's not a time to grab your loved ones or not jump to conclusions already that. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, swans like a duck, it's a bloody duck. It happened on the first day of Hanukkah. What do they call it? Chanukah. It was a Jewish community event. They fired 100 rounds into that Jewish community event. People just enjoying a day at the beach on Bondi Beach in an iconic place in Australia. And arseholes decided to just randomly shoot people. Apparently a young girl is in hospital, thank God not dead, apparently, according to the press conference. But you got all the mainstream media making all their same bullshit. Yeah, you know, they're running around. This is a special note to their career. They can win awards for this sort of coverage. Do you reckon they're really worried about the people who died, or they're just trying to get the best coverage out of Channel 7, 9, 10 and ABC? I mean, some of their commentary makes me want to vomit. Channel 9, sorry, of all nights not to have an Islamic reporter on site, surely it's the night where there's a massacre of Jewish people in a Jewish community event. Surely that's the one night you go, hey, you might be the nicest person on the planet, but we can't have you covering this event. Let's get somebody else. Who was the editor who approved that bloody thing? Sorry, I'm looking back and forth from the TV. It's just, this is not the country that I was raised in. It can't be the country we let our kids be raised in. We have got to do something. All cards are now on the table. And I've been someone who's fought back against remigration and all that. Yeah, there's got to be a line in the sand. And I think we've just crossed that line. If you can't love this country, if you can't swear an oath to this country, if you can't work, and this applies to people who've migrated here, so I'm not saying, remigration is on the table, but if you've got a clear history of hatred towards this country and what it represents, it's time for you to piss off. Time for you to go. And if you won't go, you're going to jail. Make your mind up. Love this country or piss off out of it. Simple as that. We don't need that. The other thing, death penalty. Got to come back in. It's got to come back in. They've just shot 10 innocent people. It's not like you don't even need a jury. There is clear video footage of these bastards shooting people. If it's conclusive and they've done it, let's not put them in a jail for 30 years where the taxpayers pays for their life. Send them to their maker. Send them to their 72 virgins. Let them have what they want. And that's me as a Christian saying that. I'm sorry, enough's enough. I am a Christian. Sometimes I'm a poor Christian. On a day like today, I'm probably a poor Christian. But I'm not going to give these bastards any empathy. If they hadn't been disarmed by that bloody hero, how many more would they have killed? Apparently they had a pipe bomb or some sort of device. They're ready to set off an explosion. So God knows it could have been so many more. And we still don't know how many more are going to die who are in hospital, who they're trying to save right now. How do we know if there aren't any more of these terrorist cells? And this sounds like a terrorist cell since they're raiding a bunch of homes across Sydney. How many more are there across Australia? How many more are building? How many people would be celebrating this who hate Australia? How many would be celebrating it? There would be a lot celebrating this attack, a lot more than we would like. I want to talk about this a little bit. I am going to do my little Bible readings because I think I need a bit of Jesus in my heart at the moment. Oh my God.
Community members, the Premier and the Prime Minister speaking about the extreme acts of bravery that have taken place. Bravest.
Okay, sorry, there was just a guy on there. Yeah, don't know which way to look. I've been on my, like so many of you, I've been on my X feed. I've been watching the TV. I've been trying to get as much information, but it's this, God bless the paramedics. God bless the police. They do an amazing job. But I don't need to get lectured about how brave they are. We all know how brave they are. We all know how amazing they are. What I need to hear from a politician right now is what the bloody hell are you going to do about it? That's what I need to hear from my politicians. What are they going to do about bringing my country back to what it was? What are you going to do? I don't want to hear these wonderful statements about, peace and what a great country is. Multiculturalism is broken. It's a bullshit philosophy, and that doesn't go against immigration. Come to this country, embrace this culture, embrace it. Bring your food. Couldn't give a shit like Peter Dickhead in South Australia. Bring your food, bring your culture. That's all right, but embrace that flag. Embrace what our Anzacs fought for. I didn't fight for this bullshit. So, yeah, I'm ranting a bit tonight. So, feel like saying sorry, but I'm not really sorry. Bugger it. Like I said, it's time for a bit of righteous anger. It's time for us to call out our bloody politicians. And we've got elections coming up. If we don't get politicians coming up with proper immigration policy to make our country better, to make our affordability better, to make our housing crisis get solved, and to get the bastards out of this country that hate us, then don't vote for the bastards. I know where my vote's going after today, and I've been umming and ahhing about this for a while, but there's one politician who for 20 years has been fighting that, and that's bloody Pauline Hanson. Good on you, Pauline. So I don't agree with everything Pauline does, but, screw the major parties. Enough's enough. Some of those other LNP conservatives have got to jump ship like Barnaby did into One Nation. They've got to make them a party of government. They're the one party that has been fighting this for 20 years, warning about it for 20 years. Pauline Hanson went to jail over this. When you have a day like this, you got to say enough. Who shares my values out of the politicians? Liberals don't. Labor don't. Pauline Hanson and One Nation have enough values to share with me to go, okay, all right, the line's been crossed. It's now time to start pushing the other way. So I try to be a considerate person. I try to think through the things I say. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I'm probably in between. But God, we've all got to start saying, no, we can't accept this. If we do accept this, it's going to happen again. Except maybe it'll be worse. So there's got to be a massive crackdown. And I tell you, any politician, if Paul Burke, what's his name? Sorry, Tony Burke, going to make call Paul Burke. Sorry, Paul. If Tony Burke is complicit in bringing these ISIS brides back, he needs to be sacked by Albanese and kicked out of our parliament. If this turns out to be what we think it is, he's got to go, not just out of the front bench. He's got to be kicked out of politics. And I would actually go a step further. He's got to be put up on charges of treason. We are in a war, and this is what people don't seem to understand. In Western society, we're in a war with radical Islam. They know it. They talk about it all the time. But we won't say it. Now, let's be clear before all those leftist minds implode. I'm talking about radical Islam that want caliphates across the world and want Sharia law in Australia, all that bullshit. I'm not talking about Muslims who want to come here and build a better life. But good Muslims have got to start speaking out against radical Muslims and get them out of their society. And the problem is they don't want to do it because they know if they do it, what could happen to them. And if there's a good Muslim on there that wants to come and talk to me about it, good. Come and challenge me on that. I don't think you will. Speaking of talking, if anybody is listening to this out there, instead of it just being me, send me through a DM. I'll have a look at my exes. Send me through a DM, and I'll happily bring you on so you can have your thoughts. Media people. So you can have your thoughts. You can express your thoughts. I can have up to 6 people on this. Oh, it looks like I've got a comment. Stephen Mills, US Australia. G'day, Stephen. Bob, good evening. A shocking event tonight. I hope Australia wakes up. Yeah, I should show that. What am I doing? Bob, good evening. A shocking event tonight. I hope Australia wakes up and rounds up and deports these criminal scum. Yeah, Stephen, so do I. Sadly, I'm not too sure we will. We don't have the leadership that you've got in America. Maybe this might shake him up. Albo won't be any different. Give Albo 24 hours, and our illustrious Prime Minister will be back in his woke mode. A bit ironic that we got Keir Starmer sending us his best wishes. There's another bloody Islamic apologist. Over here, Albo might take a leaf out of his book and start banning us and arresting us from social media. I could be in a lot of trouble. But shit, we got to vent somewhere, don't we, everyone? And I'm sitting at home with me and my dog, JJ. For those who follow me, JJ's down at my feet. We're not up in the upstairs office. I couldn't be bothered setting up. I brought the flag down, though. But JJ's here sitting with me. So if I do get arrested, I might need someone to look after him for a while for me. But shit, we got to be able to speak our mind. They're going to want to shut us down. You watch how quickly they'll look to shut some people down who are, in their opinion, jumping to conclusions. So just a disgraceful day. And it's not even, for me, it's not even, it is. It's such a disgraceful event to see innocents killed like this. Where's Tucker Carlson, talking about the innocents being killed while he's sitting in Qatar in the Doha thing where they paid for him, and now he's buying a house there. And he bangs on about innocents being killed all the time. Is he going to come out and speak out against this attack in Australia, about innocent civilians down the beach being killed? He only talks about it when he can blame it to the Israelis and blame the Jews. Well, is he going to actually speak out now against this attack on innocent Jews on Australian shores? I'm sick to death of the fucking Islamic apologists. I'm fucking sick to death of them. And everyone in Australia should be sick to death of them. We should be demanding that every decent Muslim start speaking out against them. And if you won't speak out against them, then you need to go. Australia needs to turn back to Christ. It needs to turn back to Christianity, and it needs to do so in a hurry. We need to start embracing Christian values, which do not condone this. The guy that attacked that guy and unarmed him and pointed the rifle at him and didn't shoot him and put it down only to be shot at, now there's a Christian guy. There's a hero. There's a bloody warrior. There's our Australian of the Year. Albo won't give it to him. But there's our Australian of the Year. If he had the good sense, he'd keep out of the spotlight. But the media will be after him to try and interview him. But if he ever hears me, which I doubt he ever will, I'd be giving him advice. Don't even go near the media. Don't go near a politician. You're a hero. You know you're a hero. Leave it there. Because these bastards will make him a target. They'll put him all over the papers and the front pages, and his life will never be the same again. He did an amazing thing. I would be really encouraging him not to let the media make a big deal out of him. Going back to what I was saying, I can, if people want to come on here for a chat with me tonight, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to go through the Twitter scrolls till probably about midnight. I'm just pissed off. I can't go to bed. I'm pissed off. I want to get it off my chest before tomorrow. So if you like, stick with me. I'm going to go on a little bit with the rant. When I calm down, I might do a few Bible reads. Like I said, turn back to Christ. But if you want to come on and you want to have your say, send me a DM. Like I said, I can have 6 people on here at once. So that's including me. So I can have another 5. And listen, we can have a chat that people could listen to if you want to do that. I think it's what's the word? Cathartic. For us to be able to do it, get it off our chest and get our feelings out there. And it is a bit of, like I said, time for a bit of righteous anger and not to let it die down. It's time for us to call our bloody politicians out. I said what this was a disgrace before. It's just terrible what happened to those people. But the bigger disgrace in my view is the politicians that today have blood on their hands. They have blood on their hands. It'll be interesting, the backgrounds of these people. If these guys are recent immigrants, I'll watch Alba and them try and cover the shit of this up. You watch them try and cover it up because they will be in all sorts of shit. As will any other politician that doesn't go to any future election saying we are going to address our immigration policies and we are going to draw immigrants that will complement our culture, that will embrace Australia's way of life. They're the people we want that bring skills into this country. We don't want the arseholes. We don't want the haters. We don't want the woke leftists. We don't want the radical Islamists. We want people who believe in a way of life that is pro-family, pro-business, pro-entrepreneurship, pro-Christ, pro-getting ahead in life, pro the good things in life, looking after your kids, sending them to school, letting them play sport, having mates over for a sleepover. You know, the things we used to value, mowing your lawns on a Sunday, keep the local neighbourhood nice and clean. People who take pride in their country, take pride in their children, take pride in their society. They're the ones we want. And I don't care whether you're Asian, Middle Eastern, European, whatever. They're the people we want. People who make this country better. People who make our society more peaceful. People who will make our society more united. People who will proudly go and fight for that war if called upon, because they know the people that represent us are doing it for our interest, in our best interest. How many of us feel that way at the moment? Yeah. And if you can't get pissed off over today, when are you going to get pissed off? If we don't get pissed off about the events of today, we deserve everything coming our way. And so it's hit our shores now. Albo wanted to recognise Palestine. He wanted to bring in all the immigrants from bloody Gaza. You watch all the arseholes coming for me because I'm Islamophobic. I can't even say the freaking word. Islamophobic. That's it. I got it out. You know, watch them coming for me. I'm sorry. I'm just going by what I see. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'll happily apologise, but I'm not going to take a politician's word. I'm not even going to take the police's word on who this person will be, because I've seen his driver's licence now. It's plastered all over social media. I've seen his first and surname. I've seen him on the TV, seen the photos with him shooting a rifle at people. I'm pretty confident in my assumptions, and I don't want to be bloody Candace Owens making up assumptions. So I'm just pissed off. We all should be pissed off. So time we called a spade a spade. And you know what? If it's not recent immigrants, let's say it's not. They still targeted the Jewish community. And who's sowed those hatreds towards the Jewish community? How many anti-Semites are there in the ALP ranks? How many ALP premiers have just allowed protest after protest? How many of them actually refuse to take action against those leaders in those pro-Palestinian groups? They're in our universities. They're in our politics. They're probably in our courts. They're certainly in our education system. So Australia's got a lot of work ahead of it, but it's not our politicians that solve this. It's people like you and me who go, okay, I'm pissed off. I'm not taking it anymore. We got to do something about it. Now, I'm not too sure exactly what it's going to be, but I am going to write away to both Malcolm Roberts and Pauline Hanson tomorrow, and I'm going to say, well, listen, what are you going to do? I'm pretty confident I know what they're going to do because they've released a policy on it. And if they say what I'm hoping to say, I'll back them. That's where I'm going to go, because I've had enough of both Labor and Liberal just allowing this bullshit to come into our country. It's time for it to come to an end. And don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I'll go with the party the best goes closest to my values and the party that'll do the most to address this situation. And you watch them all be apologists for it. You know, watch them all running and hiding. The other thing I want out of my politicians is a bit of bloody honesty. Yeah, we're part of the problem. We caused this. We're going to fix it. That's what I'd like to hear a politician say. No more motherhood statements. No more statements put out on social media. The Greens, they put out their leader, Larissa Waters, the cowardly bitch. She put out a statement and then cut off the comments. You know, the Greens have been in this up to their eyeballs about hating Australia. They've got as much blood on their hands as the ALP. But politicians today have blood on their hands. That's not just a statement now. That is actual fact. So, you know, they're going to deny it. We can't let them deny it. So we've got to just take up the fight a little bit and save our country. If we sit back waiting for the politicians, it's not going to happen. So we've got to find the right politicians. We've got to get behind them, and then we've got to do whatever we can. Like I said, send me a DM. I'm going to get on the social media thread right now, do what I normally do in my podcast. We'll get on the social media thread. I haven't got any in the thing. So we'll share my X page. Let's have a look and see what's getting put up, eh? And have a bit of a comment. Australia's Racial Discrimination Commission is warning that the factors that fomented the Cronulla riots are still in play today, and it's similar. Yeah, sure could. That was 6 hours ago. Bob Carr, here we go. All of us are gripped by the horror of Bondi terrorist shooting of members of the Jewish community at Hanukkah celebration. Shocking to reflect that this could occur to Jewish people on Australian side. That bastard led the march across Sydney Harbour Bridge. And now he has the audacity to say it's shocking that this could happen. What did he think was going to happen? He marched across Sydney Harbour Bridge with freaking terrorist sympathisers. There was some of them waving, terrorist flags. And that prick, Bob Carr, led that march. Israel Foreign Minister lays the blame at the feet of the Albanese government. Fair enough. Simon Banks, ALP acolyte, tell this fuckwit to fuck off when they haven't fucked off enough. Yeah, that'd be right. Don't take this is what I'm talking about. Take accountability. ALP aren't going to take accountability for this. The woke left have come out. I don't know whether you've noticed, if you've been on X, they've come out in a big way trying to deflect. It's not. I hope it doesn't work. I don't think it should work, but it could work because it has in the past. Sadly, we'll see. As usual, the platform turns into a sewer with the absolute dregs of society commenting about the events at Bondi. I must be one of those dregs with zero confirmation of any of the circumstances. Mate, I've got eyes, I've got ears. Didn't you see the video? Haven't you seen the driver's license? But yeah. There we go. The ones with the Palestinian flags. Biggest false flag ever in Australia. Yeah, right. Here we go. This is Penny Wong, another one, cheering for the Palestinian state. The terror attack at Bondi at the start of Chanukah is abhorrent. Terrorism, anti-Semitism, violence and hate have no place in Australia. But you foment it, Penny. My deepest condolences are with those who have lost loved ones tonight. We hope for the full recovery of all injured, and we stand in solidarity with the Australian Jewish community. Really. That'll be the first time in 2 years. Thank you to the emergency services and everyday Australian, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, motherhood statement. Ha! They're all coming out. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke said he was horrified by the news in Bondi, flagging Anthony Albanese was being briefed directly by Australia's security agencies. The Prime Minister is currently in a meeting with the National Security Committee of the Federal Cabinet and is expected to speak from Parliament House following the meeting. Well, you saw how piss poor he was in that meeting. That wasn't a press conference of a leader. And fancy this guy coming out and saying anything. This is the bastard that is secretly trying to bring ISIS brides back into the country. The same bastard that had citizenship ceremonies for his seat, which has a large Islamic demographic within it. This bastard should just stay out of view, but no, he won't. He's an arsehole. Tim Richardson, the person, they're all out. The ALP guys are coming out. Tim Richardson, what do they call him? The male minister for men in Australia. Do you reckon he would have tried to disarm that terrorist? Doubt it. Only devastating, heartbreaking, despicable scenes out of Bondi. Think of those poor people who've lost their lives. No, you're not. You're just trying to make sure you don't get any blame. Those injured in the bravery of so many people trying to save others and all. Just awful. Bullshit. Bullshit. Does anyone fall for this bullshit anymore from these politicians? I'm sorry. I don't fall for it anymore. I'm not too sure about you guys, but I don't fall for this bullshit anymore. It's just utter bullshit. Let's keep going. I mean, that guy, if you followed him, Tim Richardson, if you're not outside Victoria, he's your typical ALP acolyte, sharing elbows thing. Mary Kostakidis. Here she goes. She's been anti-Israel, anti-thing, all this sort of thing. Israel, so they're coming out. This is a guy, by the way, that John Ruddock has been backing. He's John Ruddock, the libertarian politician who marched across Sydney Harbour Bridge with the Islamic sympathisers. What an arsehole. People who are using this, someone with a gay flag and their thing, people are using this to undermine social cohesion or profit of sick individuals. It's un-Australian and it's evil. So I must be un-Australian and I must be evil somehow. When you shoot 10 people, 11 people, 12 people dead, that's undermining social cohesion when they're at the beach celebrating a peaceful event. Here they come, the Muslim cowboy. Why have I got all these bastards in my feed? The Bondi tragedy was another Mossad false flag. Of course, it was the Jews killing the Jews. Peter, you're part of the problem. Sorry. My thoughts and prayers are with the Jewish community, though, blah, 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 blah. You should have beaten elbow on the thing. Breaking up issues. One of the terrorists is Naveed Akram. Initial reporting says he's from Pakistan. Oh, well, there we go. So we don't have to wait for the media anymore. We don't even have to wait for law enforcement. Social media does it for us. Another one of my dear students, Naveed Akram, passed in the IQRA books and Tarwed this morning, perfecting he's all the rules of Tajweed. I'm assuming that's an Islamic thing. He must have been the guy with the beard. The cowards used shotguns, fired from a bridge above, and sheltered themselves behind in order to murder. Yeah, well, we all saw that. Here's Rick. Rick's an arsehole. If anyone follows Rick, he's an ALP ass kisser. Stop turning this tragedy into a fucking race war. Show some respect. You can, yeah. If this was a neo-Nazi type, Rick would be all over it. Rick loves to split Australians and disunify them. He's a bloody hypocrite. Typical. And what scares me about people like Rick, 22,000 followers. Jewish Council of Australia, pretty thing, know what they say. Says pretty much nothing about nothing. White supremacists trying to use the attack on Bondi as part of their argument are beyond disgusting. Turn us against each other is un-Australian, and it leads to horrific acts of violence against Australians by Australians. No more divisions, no more violence. Are these guys for real? I mean, I've had my run-ins with neo-Nazis, NSN, white nationalists. I don't agree with them. But, I think what's going to unify Australians is we call out today as an ugly attack. So Muslim leaders condemn attack. Well, of course they would. Will they come out and disavow radical Islam? Will they come out and disavow Sharia law? Will they come out and recognise Australia is a Christian country and always should be, and they're lucky that they've been welcomed into this country? Let's see if the Muslim community really stands up. They always come out with these motherhood statements on the day, but within 2 weeks, you'll hear some imam preaching in their mosque about how we're the evil colonisers. Rowan, he'll have a pretty decent thing. Every decent Australian must tonight, tomorrow night, and for the next 8 nights, light a menorah candle or any candle in their window. Every Australian, No, sorry, Rowan. I'm a Christian. I'm not Jewish. And I support the Jewish community. I'll let the Jewish community do that sort of thing. Mate, there's other ways. How about righteous anger at our bloody politicians? Sorry, Rowan, that's a disappointing take. Good man, but don't like that. Oh, here we go. Another ale. Mate, let's see. My heart breaks for the victims of family, blah, 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 blah. Thank you all that. Yeah, no, nothing. And here we go. Breaking. One of the Bondi shooters' names searches spiked on Israeli and Google searches hours before the shooting on Bondi Beach. Right. Okay. This guy's an arsehole, Simon Banks. Government relations, campaigning, and strategic command. In other words, he's an ALP staffer who just bullshits us all. Tonight I'm seeing Australians, all backgrounds, all faiths, none new and old, calling out their abhorrence of today's violence. This is the Australia I know and love. In the coming days, many will try and divide you, setting us against each other. Tell them they are not us. Fuck you, Simon. Your party has fucking ruined this country, and you're the fucking one who's not one of us. You keep bringing in immigrants from third world countries who hate this country. That's what's dividing us. We'll call a spade a spade. We're not copping your bullshit anymore. So the ALP are coming out. They know, and you can tell by the way they're coming out on the Twitter feeds, they know they're in a bit of shit. Crazy footage. Full 10 minutes of terror attack on a Hanukkah seller. Tell me all the observations you've observed. Should haven't seen the full 10 minutes. Look at the bastard, just sitting there shooting into a crowd. But that's a Mossad event, apparently, everyone. These are Mossad agents. Oh, God. Give me a pal. I'll save that for a little bit later. Again, guys, if you're on here and you want to join me as I rant, feel free. All you got to do is send me a direct message. Quick look, someone might have. Don't think anyone has. Send me a DM and I'll send you back a link. I've got to put codes in for everything these days. It's crazy. Yeah, no one sent me a link. So, we should try to detoxify the way we think of people who aren't like us. Labor MP Loyola McAvoy says the awful tragedy of Bondi Beach is horrendous, believing that communities should come together to celebrate each other as diversity is Britain's strength. Oh, my God. Where do these people come from? Okay, Survivor gives a devastating compound. Let's have a listen to this one. Let's see what happened. Oh, 19 minutes. We'll have a listen.
The volume and give more updates from ABC. Avi's just talking to someone who was there.
It's not a gun. Suddenly I heard some gun. No, I thought it's like, that
Fireworks.
Fireworks, sorry, I'm Israeli, so a firework. So that's then I turned around, I saw every Muslim with the beer, I think they are with swimming costume, or shooting. With a big the M16, the M, the gun, it's not a gun, it's the gun, the M16.
M16, the rifle.
Everyone, all Bondi Beach ran away, not just that, but everyone in Bondi Beach ran away. But we are stuck there because a lot died on their injured, a lot of injured. A little girl died near me. Another couple died. Everyone that was near me died.
How did you get away?
When I pretend I died, a rabbi was near me, covered me. I think he was like, and I put something on me. I couldn't breathe. They said not to talk, not to breathe.
So that's a bit tough to be. Don't understand a lot of that. Let's have a listen. This looks interesting.
Right, guys. So I've been out having the audacious attitude of doing this sexist, homophobic, misogynist, racist thing of working my clacker off on a Sunday to feed my family and hopefully do the right thing by this flag. Earn my fucking keep. I get home from this to my phone blowing up. That apparently there's been an incident on Bondi Beach. And then I turn on the TV and we're back to this same bullshit of these bomb-throwing Australia haters come in and they're shooting people on the fucking beach. I don't give a flying fuck who you pray to. I am not Islamophobic. I'll tell you what I'm phobic of. I'm phobic of people who want to kill us. I'm phobic of people who want to rape our women and children. And I'm phobic of people who want us all fucking dead. Fuck these people. Put them on a shark food pontoon. Done. End of fucking story. I don't give a flying fuck. Muslim is a complete failure in this country.
Yeah.
Complete fucking failure. It's a disaster. Get these fuckers out of here. Yep. It is compatible as an entity to have there again. Pray to whoever you fucked. But if you are going to do harm in this country, you can go. I don't want you here. Australia doesn't want you here. Apparently some bloke tackled old mate and took the gun. Should have shot him. Somebody's going to say that's a naughty thing to say. I don't fucking care. That's what he should have done. He should have turned around, opened fire, use their weapons on them. I've had a gut full of these people and this bullshit. What the fuck? And I guarantee you, our government's going to come in and no, and they'll water it down as much as humanly possible. Multiculturalism is a fucking failed experiment.
Agree.
Right? Time for them to go. You come here, you assimilate, you become a part of this country. You stand by this fucking flag. I'll even let you stand by the indigenous flag. I'll allow that to fly. Everything else, fuck off. You want a Palestinian flag, shove it up your ass. Even Israeli flag, shove it up your ass. Right? This is Australia. And we don't fucking cop this bullshit of these assholes coming here just shooting us up because they want to. Because our fucking...
Yeah. Don't know who this one is, but she's been banging on trying to deflect from people like myself. Apparently we're racist simply because we're pointing out the obvious. For all you racists carrying on about Muslims, just for the sake of our argument, this is Avi enemy. If this photo were put up as one of the shooters, you would all be screaming, look at the Muslim. At least be honest about your racism. Well, Avi wouldn't be shooting into a Jewish religious event, you dumb bitch. If he was shooting into a Muslim event, yeah, he'd be an arsehole, but he doesn't. So they're just trying to deflect all the time. Shari tried to play politics, but the lazy had the decency to straight up, straight away. Let's have a listen.
The horror of anti-Semitism has been unleashed in Australia, and it hasn't been properly dealt with by authorities. And this is where we are now.
You know, I don't blame anyone tonight other than the people that perpetrated this horror on our community. No one else is to blame. And I don't want to get into that tonight because we have a community that is in shock, that is grieving. I'm in shock. And
The horror.
Bullshit, there's plenty of people to blame. It's the politicians. I'm pretty sure that woman was a politician. I could be wrong, but is she the new New South Wales opposition leader? But yeah, there's a lot of blame to shoot around, and it starts with our politicians. Yeah, that was insane. I mean, this could be the most wonderful lady on the planet. Could be. All right? But to have her reporting on what everyone can figure out is most likely an Islamic terrorist attack against Jewish people, it's probably a bit tone deaf to be putting her on. But anyway, waiting for the Bondi Massacre press conference. Check this out. Labor, the most divisive company in history, normally divide us by race with 3 flags. Suddenly, 2 are nowhere to be seen. So they go. They keep going on about who hired this guy and provided guns. This is the typical deflection that Islamist apologists make. We know the only country boast about terror attacks in other countries, Israel. And so he's trying to imply that Israel set this up. I mean, is there anything they don't blame Israel or the Jews for, even killing their own people? So anyway, Hamas response to the killing of Jews in Australia. A senior Hamas official told Al Jazeera, "We welcome the blessed attack in Australia. It was a major and inspiring event that strengthens the resistance worldwide." So there you go. That's Hamas's version. But yeah, no, we're unified. Already had them. I had him. Oh, we seem to be going around. Fadi Gasa Halawa was trying to recover a body in Jabalaya when okay. Some more Islamic, that they've got to get so desperate to try and deflect from this, the apologists, that they've got to go to events happening in the Middle East. I mean, this is an Australian terror event. Haven't you noticed? It's on our shores. Yep, he has too. Wish we could have a no confidence vote. Be interesting to hear that. Apparently, it took police almost 45 minutes to respond to the shootings. If that is actually the case, that's not good. That statement again, Jared, I'm sorry, needs to be stronger. I'm looking for an Australia. Is there going to be one politician that calls this what it is? Why the fuck are people turning what happened in Bondi into a fucking race war? Well, first, if you're talking about people who may be looking at the radical Islamists, that's not race, that's religion, you silly person. Innocent people lost their lives and you're using it to push your far-right rhetoric. Well, because you're appalled that potentially we could have a radical Islamic event on our shores, you're now far-right. Another politician. LNP side, let's see what she's got to say. Michaela Cash is usually pretty good. We'll see. Australians are in a shock tonight after horrific shootings at the iconic Bondi Beach, a place we know so well and love. The violence occurred as the community gathered for Chanukah by the sea, a celebration now shattered by hate. My thoughts and prayer with the victims' family, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I think our police, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Seeking act of violence is not just a direct attack on our Jewish community, but on the Australian values of safety, freedom, and tolerance. Yep. There's no place for anti-Semitism or violence in our country. She's getting close. It is imperative that those responsible planning, supporting attack are met with the full force. Well, she's gone as close as any of our politicians have without actually saying it. This last line's pretty indicative. It's imperative that those responsible for planning, supporting, and carrying out this murderous attack. She's saying it was organisation. It was an organised attack, not just two random men with guns. So she didn't mention radical Islam anywhere in there, but she went as close to you could. Two shirters on Australia. This guy's an arsehole. Oh, but I won't comment until I know more. That's first. This prick here, Jake Shields, he'll blame Israel. I know where anti-Semitism leads, PM, but I know where it started, with you, Elbow. Well, Campbell, as a politician, what did you do? What are you proposing to fix it? It's all right, totally fair game, having a crack at Elbow, but I want to hear politicians, what they're going to do to fix it. That's true, Ron. So Ryan puts here the statement that the PM put out didn't even mention Australian Jews, did not as well. People have gathered outside the Bondi Beach shooter's home in Bonnyrigg with police monitoring this. You know, that's what they're doing at Bonnyrigg. Interesting. What else we got? We'll give it a couple more. High down. It just happened. Went 15 minutes. Oh, my God. Reports that Islamists set off celebrating, which always happens on these sorts of things, reports that Islamists set off celebratory fireworks in Bankstown, Western Sydney. Hi, Daniel. It just happened and went for 15 minutes. Unbelievable. Let's have a listen. Wow. After the terror shooting at Bondi victims, if there are celebrations in southwestern Sydney tonight, entire families need to be deported and mosques shut down. Yes, Daniel. Yes, that there is what I'm looking for from a politician. I'll read that again. After the terror shooting at Bondi and Jewish victims, if there are celebrations in southwestern Sydney tonight, entire families need to be deported and mosques shut down. Now, Daniel's not a politician, but he bloody here. Hi, Daniel, and it happened, apparently. Oh, my God. Catholic Arena. Australian politician Tony Burke is facing calls to immediately resign in the wake of the Bondi terror attack. Absolutely. And then put up on charges of treason. It comes after emerging in recent days that he had secret meetings with NGOs about bringing ISIS brides to Australia. Well, that should not happen if it hasn't happened. But that prick, make sure that prick has got to face some consequences. Got to go. Mike Carlton. The sick and abhorrent opportunism this terrible event will unleash in right-wing media and on this fucking hell site will be intolerable. That's me. A damn full of petrol now spilling on the pathetic little campfire of political opponents, bigoted yobbos, racist and supremacist Zionists. I'm off. So if you call a spade, you're a Zionist and far-right Zionist. Hold on. What are they doing here?
Seeing on social media reports about one of the alleged gunmen that drew a lot of people here because it was very close to home. So what some of the locals are telling us here tonight.
Yeah, okay, Paul, thank you for that. You would imagine too that may not be the only scene that we see.
Okay, so that's what was going on in those Sydney suburbs, the home of one of the gunmen. Funny how they all knew where he lived. Bob Catter, we'll get a good thing. Let's live and listen to Bob. They allowed these people into our country. They allowed them to bring with them their hatreds and wars. They allowed them to freely burn our flag and make anti-Australian Semitic statements. They encouraged them to live in radical ethnic enclaves in our major cities. Well done, Bob. They provided them with welfare, offering no encouragement for work. The pro-Palestinian radicals have no interest in becoming Australian. They are fanatical. They bring their own wars and hatreds to our shores and have commitment to ensure we become like them. The federal government must immediately implement a strict, unapologetic policy of no migrant assimilation. Yes, Bob. The people coming into this country through the immigration floodgates must be asked, do you come from the countries with rule of law? Do you come from countries with democracy? Do you come from countries with Judeo-Christian values? Do you come from countries with industrial awards? For the Middle East and North African crowd, the answer is no, 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 no. Bob Carter, you're a legend. Bob, legend. Let's try and get that up in a bit if I can. Can't quite get that the size. I'll do that. Open a new tab, see what happens. Just hang with me, guys, if you're still with me. Oh, we can get that. Let's share that statement. That statement is worth sharing. Hold on. The following is a statement from the Honourable Bob Catter MP. Gone through that. The federal, no. The French for the time ever now have more immigrants than their own people. They are effectively eradicating themselves from the gene pool. Before it is too late and we're also overrun, I want to ensure that the Jewish people in Australia know that Australians hate anti-Semitism in all its forms. Finally, I don't care if you've been here for 5 minutes, 5 generations, or 50,000 years. If you live in this country and love this country, you are Australian. They are great words. Hallelujah. Bob Catter. And again, I've had my disagreements with me, mate, but you've just won me over. This is what we're looking for from our bloody politicians, everybody. This is what we need. That is a brilliant statement from Bob Catter. Brilliant. We need more of that. A lot more. So, crazy. Like I said, I'm going to be here till 12. What I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to do my, because I think I need a bit of forgiveness for me tonight. Oh, God, they've come out. Look at this. Aussies are about to receive the most divisive onslaught of horrendous rage bait content over the next few days by a range of self-identified influencers and personalities. I'm not too sure whether I qualify as one of those. Don't feed the hateful monetization of our tragedy. Monetization. Call out the bad faith actors. Depends on what she means. Maybe she means a thing. I mean, look, no one forces you to follow anybody on X or any other sort of platform, if they, get have monetization out of their social media platforms, that's because people watch it. I've never really understood that argument, but good luck to them if they get it. I mean, people are allowed to comment. It's time people knew the truth about the Australian Greens, offered to settle recent legal action about it. That's the targeting of Jews or Jewish institutions over foreign countries. The Greens refused. Yeah, well, we know that. Greens are assholes. You are a horrible human being, really. Bondi shooting, PM Anthony. I must be a horrible human being as well. Bondi shooting, PM Anthony Albanese statement. No, I don't need to read that statement. Ursula von der Leyen. What a bitch she is. What's she got to say? Shocked by the tragic attacks of Bondi Beach. I said, my heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of the victim. No, you don't. This bitch wants mass immigration into Europe. I mean, she's as vile as they come. Europe stands with Australian Jewish communities everywhere. No, you don't. We're united against violence, anti-Semitism, and hatred. No, you're not. Purple fingers. The sheer volume of utter scum already using this tragic shooting to instill anti-immigrant and racist hatred is truly disgusting. No, purple fingers. Read Bob Catter's statement. It summed it up perfectly. Perfectly. And here you go. Mary Kostakidis. She's a bitch. Predictable protesting genocide linked to Bondi shooting. If only there was so well, exactly. Anyone with a brain saw this coming. Let's have a listen to George. He's usually pretty good, and it only goes from minute 10.
Australia is done. First they banned the bows, then they banned machetes and swords. They're coming for guns. This isn't random, it's sequential. Because once digital ID is fully embedded, once surveillance is total, violence are politically and culturally disarmed, there is no resistance, only compliance. This is the emasculation of a nation in real time. Australia is being marched to technocratic control, where the state tracks, restricts, and ultimately every aspect of your life.
I sort of get sick of this bullshit. Okay, if we're going down that road, there's probably no stopping it, really. I mean, I'm sorry. People want to say, if it's that far down. So what he's saying is this is a psyop. These two guys got on a bridge and shot a bunch of people, and now they're going to use it to disarm what Australians are left to arm. I don't know how many there are, really. So it's like the Point Arthur massacre. Apparently that was a psyop to get rid of all our guns out of our community. That'll only happen if Australian public allow that to happen. And if we allow that to happen, there's an old saying, people get the governments they deserve. If we allow that to happen and for the blame not to be sheeted onto the mass immigration and the people we're letting in, then he's right, Australia's cooked. But I'm hoping there's already a lot of people pissed off with mass immigration. I hope this really solidifies it. What's Jeff got to say? What a shocking night for the Jewish community throughout Australia, but in particular families in Bondi, New South. We need an explanation. We need our leaders to act. Words mean nothing now. Well done, Jeff. This is doing the rounds. Naved Akram was the shooter. I worked laying bricks with this person for years. He was licensed for firearms. I'm assuming that says firearms. What the fuck? Yeah. He was licensed. Crazy. Just wonder if you got this wrong, you could be in a heap of true. Have we not learned our lesson from doing this before? Anyway. Peter Malinukis, the South Australian Premier. This evening I've spoken to South Australian. That'd be comforting to reassure them that they are not alone. I know the incident at Bondi Beach today has caused real distress, and I want the Jewish community to know that they have the state government's unwavering support. Where's it been for 2 years, Peter? The fact that the attack targeted the Jewish community on the first day of Hanukkah is particularly distressing. No one should ever lose their life, feel unsafe or targeted because of who they are or what they believe, especially during a time meant for faith, reflection and celebration. The state government stands with our Jewish community. We'll do all we can to ensure they feel safe and supported. And look, the prick's turned off his comments. What a freaking coward. What a coward. What a coward. This is the same bastard that a few weeks ago went around and said multiculturalism is so good. We wouldn't have such a variety of foods if it wasn't for multiculturalism. Yes, we would, dickhead. There's nothing banning from people cooking all types of food if we just said you've got to be part of the Australian culture. I didn't realise it came to food, idiot. But now, all of a sudden he's right there with the Jewish community. What an arsehole. Bullshit he is. Absolutely bullshit. Yeah, Craig Foster, another one. They're all, like I said, they've come out in force. And intensely devastating. This guy's been a Palestinian apologist and anti-Israel. An intensely devastating, horrific day here in Sydney. A very close Bondi community, a place where I spent over 10 years with one of the worst atrocities experiences in the country. Whose fault is it, Craig? Come on, say it. Whose fault? My love goes out to everyone affected. Let's see if he mentions the Jews. Particularly, he does. Bondi Jewish and all other families. Who were they targeted by, Craig? Thank you to New South Wales. Unbelievable. The type of Australians always pull together in times of crisis, support each other, and many families will need support now. You're full of shit, Craig Foster. You're just full of shit. This guy was interesting. Chris Reason. Let's have a listen to this guy.
Brains out. This is Bondi. This is Australia. I left Soviet Union as a refugee.
You're not Jewish. You're not
I am
Muslim.
Jewish.
You are.
Yes.
And what did you do today? Can you talk me through it?
Murder. I saw murder.
How quickly did you get on the scene?
I was.
Why? Why?
I was chaplain. I came as a CS chaplain.
There's blood on it, mate.
I was helping people out.
And what are you telling me about the casualty on the ground here in Bondi?
I can't tell you. There's lots. More than dozens.
Injured or killed?
Rabbi dead. Kids hurt. What can I do?
The Jewish festival of celebration, festival of light.
Bringing the light into darkness came to us today. To whole Australia, to the beach, to Sydney. This is not country I came here 30 years ago. It's not.
We're seeing people being taken into these out now. There are some that have survived.
Yes.
Do we have an idea of how many?
I can't tell you.
As the ambulances are wheeling stretchers behind you, what sort of numbers can you?
I can't tell you all.
That's a stupid question.
When did you get there?
I was I was lying on top of my son.
Your son?
My son, 8 years old son. I fell on top of him and then I fell on top of me.
Your son's okay?
He's okay.
The injured
survived.
You're okay?
I'm okay. So show myself.
Can you tell me what was happening down there? This was a festival where
people dancing, people eating sweets, people climbing the rock climbing wall for the kids, selling sausage, just like a normal festival, like any other barbecue.
How many gunmen were there?
2.
What were they holding? What sort of
rifles?
Okay.
I think one of them was shot down.
What were they holding? Pistols, you idiot.
They seemed to be indiscriminate targeting. Were they looking at any individuals?
No, they were shooting this way.
Whoever they could get.
Whatever they can get. Old people, young people, gone out, just like Bondi Beach. Life service came. People just run, say, I'll help. That's the sign. No, but that is not. That's today.
You got down. Who did you first arrive to? Who did you
can't help. The junior guy that was hurt next to me in the shoulder, I was helping him out. Then I went around. A lot of people. How do you know that? Their brains were brown.
Situation.
Hold on, guys. Something.
Certainly a dangerous situation. We've also had the police helicopter coming a bit lower while they've just driven in. So no precise idea as to what they might be responding to, whether there was an act that they're responding to, or it's part of some caution that police are taking as they investigate this address of interest here in Bonnyrigg.
That's interesting, Paul, because that's certainly not out of an abundance of caution. That suggests there's further activity to happen there, and there may well be.
Well, there's a armoured vehicle loaded with cops going to Bonnie Dyke in Sydney. For those who aren't seeing on the TV, it's on Channel 7 at the moment. I can't just get that up here. But that looks... So it's not just a policing event. Right, let's keep going with this guy. This was an interview. I watched this interview before.
Kids as well. Girls are so young kids. One probably around 12, the other one probably even young.
So that guy was pissed off. You could tell by the way he was looking at this reason, who's an idiot. How's this guy? This guy's worth it.
Oh!
Someone said before he should have shot him there. Argue with it, but he didn't. He's a better man. It's amazing. Amazing. That's incredibly courageous. And what they don't show you is the guy on the bridge that actually starts firing at him. Amazing. That guy's Australian of the Year. Absolutely. Bombs now. Sydney. Oh, here we go. Sydney attack escalates from shooting to multi-vector terror. This just got worse. New South Wales police confirm a bomb disposal unit is operating at Bondi Beach after a vehicle near the scene was found with multiple suspected explosive devices. Read that again. This wasn't just bullets, it was layers of attack. Police Commissioner Mel Lanyon says investigators believe the vehicle contained several explosives, turning what was already a mass casualty attack into a failed secondary strike scenario, the kind designed to kill first responders, extend panic, and dominate headlines for days. That changes the classification entirely. This now looks like a coordinated terror operation aimed at a Jewish religious event using a familiar firearms for immediate carnage, explosives for amplification and chaos. Explosives means planning, materials, and time. Vehicles mean mobility and escape intent. Multiple devices suggest redundancy, not improvisation. Australia's worst fear wasn't that violence could happen, it was that it could happen this deliberately. Bondi Beach isn't just a crime scene now, it's a warning label. This attack was meant to echo. So true. We're in a different country now. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this. This hero's name was Ahmed Al Hamed, confirmed by the news, 43-year-old father of two, fruit shop owner in Sutherland. I offered him my infinite respect, the great Australian hero. Looks like he's been shot. I hope not. Oh, no. Did he get killed? Update. The brave man who disarmed one of the active shooters in Bondi Beach sacrificed his life to do it. Rest in peace, hero. Oh, I hope that's not right. I hope that's not right. If he lost his life, that's a tragedy. It looks like he's bleeding there, especially from the thing. I hope he's all right. Ah. New Rabbi Ali Schlanger, a Shabbat rabbi in MSC, had recently sent a letter to Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. In the letter, written after Australia recognised a Palestinian state, Schlanger urged Albanese not to betray the Jewish people and called on him to reverse the decision. Today, Rabbi Ali Schlanger was murdered along with 10 others at a Hanukkah event he organised, killed in cold blood for being Jewish in Australia. And there's going to be some stories come out of this. Here we go. Talking of stories, alleged gunman Khalid al-Nablusi reportedly being monitored by ASIO. What went wrong? Why are these evil creatures roaming our streets? Great question. March for Australia. This is Scotty. Multiculturalism has failed us. Agree. Australians make up and realise that this multicultural experiment has run its course. Agree. Make no mistake, this shooting isn't an isolated incident. It is the direct result of failed government policy. Agree. Which has been foisted upon the Australian people. Your politicians did this and you are not angry enough. I agree. Totally agree. Danica DiGiorgio, she's pretty good. One of the few media ones I'd listen to. Anthony Albanese is asked whether he will now implement the recommendations from the Special Envoy's anti-Semitism report. He said, we're continuing to work on all those issues. It was released in July. 5 months later, at least 12 are dead in a terror attack targeting Hanukkah at Bondi Beach. But Albo needs more time to work on issues. Just his social media ban. Here we go. This is what I was saying before. 2 weeks ago, the Premier of South Australia, Peter Malinoukis, said that living in a monocultural society would be extremely boring and the food and restaurants would be horrible. Malinoukis is a staunch supporter of mass immigration to Australia. He certainly is. And now he's furiously on side with the Jewish community. Bullshit. Okay, let's have a listen to this.
Was along the beach, which is one of my favorite things to do, and then everyone was just running and there were bullets and there were many of them and we were really scared. We didn't know where they were coming from.
I'm sorry, Catherine, I know it's really hard what you've been through.
I feel really guilty. I wasn't even right where those people were. But we just didn't know. And we were just running and running and I was thinking, we're not going to hide. Was walking along the beach, which is one of my favorite things to do, and then everyone
shouldn't have to be scared from walking on the beach. What have we become as a country? I mean, this could actually go anywhere.
I was looking, there was just blood and bodies everywhere. And I just saw she was wearing a pink skirt and I saw this lady lying on top of her She had been shot. She said
The lady had been shot.
she had been shot. Yeah, she said, "I've got your daughter. I've been protecting her." She was lying on top of Gigi. Gigi was lying under her,
A little 3-year-old girl.
like petrified. She was in blood. I saw the blood. I got a fright in my life. I said, "Don't worry, that's not my blood." And
And Wayne, tell me what happened to that lady.
I took her number. I said, "You've saved my daughter's life." I said, "I'll be indebted to you for the rest of my life." Her name is Jess. I spoke to her like about 10 minutes after I took her. She was going to hospital. She said she was okay. We tried to call her about an hour ago. Couldn't get hold of her. She must be in hospital. The lady next to her was lifeless and had been shot. It was just the most appalling, most experience. It's just that this can happen in Australia, and we're just lying there, and the shots were coming like sitting ducks. I was looking.
Imagine that being a father or daughter, you can't find them in the middle of a shooting. Jess is another hero. God, there's some heroes. These are the Australians we want. People who sacrifice their life to save another. That guy that disarmed that, Jess who covered this 3-year-old girl, they're Australians. People who sympathise with terrorists aren't. That's all I'll say about that image. Shabbat handed out Israeli, I can't pronounce that, Israeli donuts moment before the massacre at Bondi Beach in the host cellar. Look at how many children there. Didn't stop the terrorists from shooting them simply because they were Jewish. Let's have a look.
Okay, thank you.
How many?
One, it's enough. Just to feel the Hanukkah.
These are everywhere.
Okay, thank you.
That's just people going about their business. Jacinta. This pisses me off. You know, we're going to get all these statements for all the ones. Tonight, Australians are struggling to comprehend the act of hatred and terror that goes against everything we believe in and stand for. You don't stand for this bullshit, Jacinta. You've been encouraging it for 2 years. This was a targeted anti-Semitic attack of terror. It occurred at a time that should be marked by joy. Blah, blah. Thoughts of all Victorians are with the thoughts of a lot of Victorians are, but not all Victorians. From those who witnessed it to the first responders and members of the public who acted with courage and bravery in a moment of fear and chaos. To Jewish Victorians, you should never have to carry fear in this country, but you allow it, Jacinta. You bitch. You allow it. You belong here fully, safely, and without question. You don't believe that. We'll do everything in our power to make sure you're safe. Yeah, like she makes sure all Victorian residents are safe from the bloody criminal she's got running on our streets. This evening I've spoken with another Premier has spoken with Jewish leaders and made clear that the full support of the Victorian Government of Victoria will be available to ensure Hanukkah can be observed safely, freely, and without fear. Hanukkah is a sacred time of light, blah, blah, blah. This is, full of shit. I mean, you should listen to this boy on the bike. This kid deserves a medal. This from a while ago.
Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate. You're a little kid. Have some respect. Educate yourself.
Do not speak like this.
Educate yourself. Right. Learn how to talk.
Really. Yeah, I'm where is his mum? Wait, his mum's where she needs to be. Fuck off. Excuse me. Have some respect.
No.
Don't know who this pommy bitch is, but she's lecturing these boys having a crack in the Palestinian. Just have a listen to the kid. This kid, have a listen to what his mate says. I love it.
Where she needs to be. Fuck off.
Excuse me. Yeah, where is his mum?
Wait, his mum's where she needs to be. Fuck off.
Excuse
His mum is where she needs to be. So fuck off. That's the way, kid. More of that. We need some more Aussie spirit like that. Stop lecturing us. Oh, God.
Have some respect.
No,
For what?
Was I talking to you?
Go away, mate.
Was I talking to you? Was I talking to you?
Oh, mate, you.
Yeah, father, here.
I feel bad for
In
your
your
horse.
face.
I feel bad for your horse.
That's it, man.
Oh my God, try that.
I feel bad for your horse. That was from a while ago. I remember that. Bravo to those two boys and that silly bitch, that silly apologist for a Palestinian, this idiot waving. It just gets my head done in. Anyway, yeah, I'll go through just to finish off. I've got two things, and then I'm going to try and have some dinner and get finished up. Let's see them try and fix this. I've had actually a few good comments. They've got a plenty of impressions. That's the politicians. They're not going to fix it. This one has been going gangbusters. This is my comment directly after learning about it. Every fucking politician who've allowed this should go to jail. Stand by that. And so far, it's been pretty popular. So 33,000.7, nearly 3,000 likes. I think we're all in furious agreements. Our politicians are in so much trouble. I put in there, and I don't apologise for this, Albo, Tony Burke and Penny Wong have blood on their hands. Treasonous bastards. The only surprise about this disaster is it hadn't happened earlier. Watch the Polish try and put up smoke screens and try and deflect their accountability for this. And what I did put on there, multicultural should now be finished. Anybody who hates this country needs to be kicked out. The time for bullshit is over. 930 likes, 17,000 views. I like that. So, yeah, there's I don't think I said anything too mind-blowing there. But anyway, another one that got a bit of thing. We had, where was it? Sorry. This was in response to our opposition leader. What's her name? Susan Ley, that's it. She came out with a motherhood statement and she goes, "Today we stand together as Australians against hate in this moment of profound tragedy and shock." My response, sorry, but I don't stand with any mainstream politician in their bullshit statements. I'm on the Pauline Hanson train. She's been the only politician to consistently fight against this bullshit for decades. Don't make a statement anti-immigration policy with teeth, or just get the fuck out of the way for somebody better to do your job. That's where I stand. So, and that goes with every politician who puts it. I don't want motherhood statements. I want statements on what are you going to do to make Australians safe? What are you going to do to unite us? What are you going to do to get rid of the arseholes that hate us? This is the one I talked about with Sam. I got a lot of time for him, but I'm a bit sick of this too. And, next thing they're going to have a vigil and start lighting candles and all that same old bullshit in these tragedies. Please, everyone, stay safe tonight. Hold back the anger. Details are still emerging, and we don't have the full story yet. We've got a lot of it, Sam. Take a breath, hug your loved ones tonight, and keep the victims, their families, the heroes who stepped up like this bloke, first responders, and our whole community in your prayers. I agree with that. It's time like this. Please hug your loved ones, pray for the victims, and don't act out in anger. I disagree with that. So my response, love your work, Sam, but disagree. Time for bullshit. We need to get as mad as hell. If not now, when? That's my opinion. Screw them. And let's get angry at the people we should be angry at, and that's our bloody politicians. So Tim, well done, Tim. I'll give him a like. Big Chock out exactly the same in his page. Now's the time not to be stupid, but keep the anger. Yeah, and I'm not saying, go out and do stupid things and respond to do anything. But let's take out some anger against our politicians. Write to them. Let them know how you feel. Get on X and have your say against them. Do what I'm doing. Do a bloody live stream. If I can do it, you can do it. Get your friends involved. It's about time we all started picking the ones that, we want to get into our governments, and not the arseholes who keep creating the same freaking problems. Hate to tell you, but they are actually going to go. They are going to spin the narrative to blame law-abiding citizens. They're going to try, but that only happens if we let it to happen. We can't keep letting it happen. Well, the one thing I'm not going to tolerate, everyone, I think that's enough from X. Let me just get rid of that for now, and I can finish off for the night because It is close to 12. I said I'd do this till 12. Replace or what? Stop sharing. There we go. Get my ugly mug back. I said I was going to go to 12. Oh, all the coverage is finished. Maybe ABC still, the ABC would still be apologising. So Channel 7, 9 and 10. Yeah, ABC still going. So anyway, hope a number of you with me. We had a pretty good response considering I sort of just jumped on at random. We've all got a vent. And we've all got a vent with a little bit of anger. Sorry, when are we going to get pissed off with what's going on in this country? Every time we have one of events, I can nearly pick it straight away. The politicians will come out tomorrow and they'll create something as an alternative to blame this on. They'll probably go and blame social media. If you remember when that guy went around knifing people in Sydney, again, Sydney seems to be the centre of it. Everyone hates us Victorians. But remember, he went around and he killed 6 people with a knife, and all of a sudden it all became about social media, not why this guy was a nut. You watch him tomorrow. The political strategic minds in the ALP will be thinking, how can we spin this? That's what they'll be doing tonight. It won't be about the victims. They won't be picking up a phone to members of the families of the 10 victims. They'll be thinking, how do we spin this in the interviews tomorrow? They'll be working on these statements and working with Elbow. How can we deflect blame? You watch. That's where it'll go. And then all these politicians will start turning up at vigils, where they'll lay a wreath or they'll light a candle and everyone will be saying a prayer. Good, say prayers. Good. Politicians, don't bloody turn up. And if they do turn up, do what they did in London when those girls got slaughtered by an Islamist that they made excuses and called everyone bigots and Islamophobic because they had a crack at him, who went and killed all those little girls in a dance class. And when Keir Starmer turned up, he got hounded out by the public. The public should hound out every politician that has supported this mass immigration. If it's Pauline Hanson or Malcolm Roberts turn out or Bob Catter, welcome them in. I'd even go as far to say Andrew Hastie and Jacinta Price has spoken out against this. Welcome them in, because at least they're speaking out. But if they're your typical ALP or moderate liberals, anyone like that, anyone who embraces this mass immigration that is dividing our community, hand them away from the candlelight vigils. Don't have a candlelight vigil. We should be having a vigil wherever these politicians turn up. We should hound the bastards. Sorry, they deserve some real criticism. They deserve some real accountability. They deserve they deserve to see how upset we are, how angry we are that they've allowed this to happen. They've created this scenario. They've created this divide in our community. They've brought in the people that have encouraged the hatred against Australians. They've festered that hatred by making us apologise over and over and over again for crimes and sins we never committed. They are making us Australians, they're tainting us as colonialists who are genocidal arseholes, which we're the furthest thing from. And I'm not going to go back in our past. Everyone, whenever they say that, goes, oh, well, there were crimes. I couldn't give a shit. A lot of my forebears built this country from the ground up. It was nothing when they got here. Stop spreading hatred against Australians, whether they're Indigenous or whether they're Anglo or whether they're Asians. As long as they, like Bob Ketter said, embrace that flag and its culture, they're welcome here. But when they hate us and when our politicians encourage them to hate us, then that should be a line in the sand. We shouldn't cop that anymore. Our righteous anger should come up. I keep talking about that, our righteous anger. I'm not going to be told anymore that I do not have a right to be angry at my politicians who have created this scenario where it could have been far worse if those reports are true, which will no doubt all come out. We are lucky that this wasn't, it was already a massacre. It was already a mass killing. It could have been far worse if those bombs had detonated. And then we would have had police and first responders involved in a lot more of these deaths. Imagine how big a worse tragedy that. We've missed that by a little bit. Who's to say there's not another attack coming? If this was that planned, there's obviously cells within our country that are planning these sorts of attacks. How many more are we now going to find? You say, oh, don't exaggerate, Bob. Well, remember 9/11? They tried to take out 9/11 a couple of times before they succeeded with those planes. You know, radical Islamists just keep coming until you stop them. That's just a sad fact. And yeah, all those ones who want to come in, yeah, it's Mossad, it's the Jews, it's blah, blah, Tucker Carlson. You know, if you think that and we're so infested with insane Jews, go live in Qatar. Tucker's buying a house there. He'll keep you happy. Jeez, call a spade before we get more innocents killed. You know, apparently, like I said before, Tucker's against that. So anyway, I've ranted a bit. I've let my anger come out. I am going to do one thing to finish off, if you want to bear with me. Anyone who knows me well enough knows, and I've got to check the dates, that I do a Bible read each day for the Charlie Kirk Bible read. I will definitely be back on tomorrow. I haven't done this since Thursday, and that was on the 11th, so I've got a few to get through. So I'd like to finish the night off with a Christian attitude. And we are in Christmas, not happy holidays. We're in the Christmas period. You know, peace and love to all men. We need to embrace that all over again. Aussie culture. This time of the year, we celebrate Christmas. Good luck to the Jewish community who celebrate Hanukkah. But we're a Christian country. We celebrate Christmas. We respect Jewish people. They can celebrate those things. For all their history in Australia, they never attacked Australians. They're so nuts. But today, they were the target of an attack that should never have happened. But our politicians allowed it. The Suffering Servant. I've got 4 of these to read, so bear with me. I think it'd be a good way to finish off. The Suffering Servant. Christians have believed from the beginning that this passage, written long before the time of Christ, refers to Jesus and how he gave his life for God to use. It's Isaiah 52, 13 through 53, 6. The Lord says, my servant will succeed in his task. He will be highly honored. Many people were shocked when they saw him. He was so disfigured that he hardly looked human. But now many nations will marvel at him, and kings will be speechless with amazement. They will see and understand something they had never known. The people reply, who would have believed what we now report? Who could have seen the Lord's hand in this? It was the will of the Lord that his servant should grow like a plant, taking root in dry ground. He had no dignity or beauty to make us take notice of him. There was nothing attractive about him, nothing that would draw us to him. We despised him and rejected him. He endured suffering and pain. No one would even look at him. We ignored him as if he were nothing. But he endured the suffering that should have been ours, the pain that we should have borne. All the while we thought that his suffering was punishment sent by God. But because of our sins he was wounded, beaten because of the evil we did. We are healed by the punishment he suffered, made whole by the blows he received. All of us were like sheep that were lost, each of us going his own way. But the Lord made the punishment fall on him, the punishment all of us deserved. And maybe some of my sins fell on his shoulders. December 12th. So for those who haven't done this before, I do a Bible in honor of Charlie Kirk, a daily Bible read. I've missed a few, so I'm catching up. December 12th, the honoured servant, Isaiah 53, 7-12. The suffering servant passage goes on to describe how the servant accepted God's will and how God viewed the willing gift of his life. He was treated harshly but endured it humbly. He never said a word. Like a lamb about to be slaughtered, like a sheep about to be sheared, he never said a word. He was arrested and sentenced and led off to die, but no one cared about his fate. He was put to death for the sins of our people. He was placed in a grave with evil men. He was buried with the rich, even though he had never committed a crime or even told a lie. The Lord says, it was my will that he should suffer. His death was a sacrifice to bring forgiveness. And so he will see his descendants. He will live a long life, and through him my purpose will succeed. After a life of suffering, he will again have joy. He will know that he did not suffer in vain. My devoted servant with whom I am pleased will bear the punishment of many. For his sake I will forgive them. And so I will give him a place of honor, a place among great and powerful men. He willingly gave his life and shared the fate of evil men. He took the place of many sinners and prayed they might be forgiven. That was the honoured servant. The suffering servant passage goes on to describe how the servant accepted God's will and how God viewed the willing gift of his life. Interesting. All right, we're getting there. December 13th, losing your life. As Jesus prepares to give his life on the cross, this is John 12, 20, 33, we see something of his struggle. He also teaches his disciples about giving up their lives. Some Greeks were among those who had gone to Jerusalem to worship during the festival. They went to Philip. He was from Bethsaida in Galilee. And he said, "Sir, we want to see Jesus." Philip went and told Andrew, and the two of them went and told Jesus. Jesus answered them, "The hour has now come for the Son of Man to receive great glory. I'm telling you the truth. A grain of wheat remains no more than a single grain unless it dropped into the ground and dies. If it does die, then it produces many grains. Whoever loves his own life will lose it. Whoever hates his own life in this world will keep it for life eternal. Whoever wants to serve me must follow me, so that my servant will be with me where I am, and my Father will honor anyone who serves me. Now my heart is troubled, and what shall I say? Shall I say, Father, do not let this hour come upon me? But that is why I came, so that I might go through this hot hour of suffering. Father, bring glory to your name." Then a voice spoke from heaven, "I brought glory to it, and I will do so again." The crowd standing there heard the voice, and some of them said it was thunder, while others said an angel spoke to him. But Jesus said to them, "It was not for my sake that this voice spoke, but for yours. Now is the time for this world to be judged. Now the rule of this world will be overthrown. When I am lifted up from earth, I will draw everyone to me." In saying this, he indicated the kind of death he was going to suffer. Interesting. Last one. The day of judgment. How relevant. Malachi 2:17-3.5. The promise of the Lord's messenger to be sent by God is a frequent theme of the Old Testament prophets. Malachi says he will purify God's people. You have tired the Lord out with your talk, but you ask, how have we tired him? By saying, the Lord Almighty thinks all evildoers are good. In fact, he likes them. Or by asking, where is the God who is supposed to be just? The Lord Almighty answers, I will send my messenger to prepare the way for me. Then the Lord you are looking for will suddenly come to his temple. The messenger you long to see will come and proclaim my covenant. But who will be able to endure the day? But who will be able to endure the day when he comes? Who will be able to survive when he appears? He will be like strong soap, like a fire that refines metal. He will come to judge like one who refines and purifies silver. As a metal worker refines silver and gold, so the Lord's messenger will purify the priests, so that they will bring to the Lord the right kind of offerings. Then the offerings which the people of Judah and Jerusalem bring to the Lord will be pleasing to him as they used to be in the past. The Lord Almighty says, I will appear among you to judge. And at Christmas, that's probably something we should do. So I've caught up on all my Bible readings. I'll be back tomorrow, no doubt, with further rants about what the events of today, but also, I don't know, with another Bible read, definitely. I think I need that for my soul. I think we all do. We definitely need Christ back in our lives. My opinion, feel free to disagree with me. Of which I would love to have some people come on my podcast episode this week and discuss these events with me. If you feel compelled, if you're happy to put your face to a podcast like I do, get in contact and let's get a group of us. Let's have a panel talking about these events and talking about where this country is headed. So I'll send out some invites tomorrow. Be nice to finish off before Christmas. I've got 2 podcasts. I do on Tuesday, 8 o'clock. I've got 2, one this week, obviously, and 1 more before Christmas. Be nice to get a bit of pre-Christmas cheer into us, especially after events to today. For those who are still with me, let's see how many we got. No Avi Yemeni or Yemeni or Rukshan. I don't have as many as what they've done, but we got 142. So instead of the politicians, all right, instead of the candlelight vigils, I'm just going to say the Lord's Prayer in sake of all those who lost their lives. You can either listen with me or you can join in with me. As a Christian, I think there's no more beautiful words than the Lord's Prayer, and I think it's appropriate when 10 innocents, people who are doing nothing more than enjoying a family day at the beach, were slaughtered by arseholes, by demons. You have to be a demon to be able to do what those 2 bastards did today. And whatever. Let's not focus on them. Let's focus on God and whatever. So I'm just going to finish off with the Lord's Prayer, then I'm going to say good night. Now, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Jesus, look after those families who are going to go through a horrific time. Look after those first responders who saw horrific things. Get in the minds of good people who can change this country. Get in the minds of those few remaining politicians. Change their hearts, change their minds, make them act for the best interests of this country and its people. We need your influence, your courage, your impact on us as a society, and bring us back to your amazing Son, Jesus Christ. Now I should cross myself. No, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. If you don't believe in Christ, support those who do, because we all want the best for this country. So that's enough ranting, certainly enough praying from me. Hey, one thing you haven't seen, JJ. For those who haven't seen him, I always give him appearance. Come here. Come on. I can't have a show without my co-star. There he is. My boy JJ. He's wondering what the hell's going on. Before all this, we were having a really good day. And then I've just been watching the TV and talking to you guys. So the pets just make us happy, don't they? He's such a good boy. He's a bit bemused about what's happening. You know, he doesn't understand, but he's always there. And now he's got his big nose in the screen. He's getting the next scratch. So he's been such a good boy while I've been talking to everyone. So anyway, as I always sign off, good night, God bless. More relevant now today than ever. God bless your kids. God bless your grandkids. God bless your pets. Give them all a hug. As sadly many families found out today, you never know the last time you'll be hugging them. So bless them all. Bless you. Good night. And let's make this country a great place. Again, let's make that flag represent what it used to represent. Let's make it be great. Don't mean to sound like Trump, but we've got to get our country back. All right. Good night, one and all.